All right, welcome everybody. Raul Luna here in the Real Estate Talk Show with Raul Luna. Congratulations to every single one of you guys that are connected. It is truly amazing that I see various of you guys that got connected really early on. So amazing. Today we got a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope that you are in a place where you're completely paying full attention with zero distraction. He is going to be sharing, a very, it's a known strategy, but very poorly understood or very poorly implemented, that people are getting, deals, real estate deals. And he's going to be even talking about how he bought 5 properties for $25,000. But just so that you know a little bit about him, because I know that, some that are connected may or may not know him. And I actually met him, I don't know, maybe well over 18 months ago or a year and a half ago. I went to a meetup. It was a standing, literally, there was no seats. I went all the way to the front. I was taking notes. I heard him for the very first time. I heard his story that he was making 7-figure income for the past 5 years. And I wanted to obviously know who this guy was. I was there taking notes, and then I learned that he had a book, Smashing the Alarm Clock, Amazon bestseller. I bought the book, one for my wife, one for me, and started reading it. And it was very inspiring that, I made it a point that I wanted it to meet him, that I wanted it to make him my friend, that I wanted it to, basically see what he was doing. Because at the time I was doing real estate investing in Modesto, where profits were, average profit is anywhere from 25 to 35,000. Well, he was doing 500K deals, where he was doing $1 million deals. And yet, when I was there at that event, I noticed that it was exactly the same thing he was doing. It was exactly the same work that he was doing. He was just making, 100 times more, profits than I was at the time. So very grateful. Today he's here with me, not only as a great friend of mine, but also a business partner of mine that, that we're going to be obviously sharing something very, very special. So you're there, you're there here. Make sure that you stay all the way until the end, because we got something radically special for you guys. But, we're going to be sharing it obviously towards the end of the webinar here today. So anyways, without further ado, I want to bring Mr. Jason Buzi to the line, all the way from Jerusalem. He's basically traveling for the past, 3 weeks now. He's probably got another 2 more weeks or so. And yet he's doing business basically from everywhere he is, because of the power of social media today. So let's give it up for him. Let's put a number 5 on the chat, as a symbol that we're clapping and bringing him on board. So Mr. Jason, welcome into today's talk show.
Hi. Bro, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go straight ahead.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, thanks for welcoming me on the show. And it's exciting to be able to do this. I am, as you mentioned, now in Jerusalem, Israel, the other side of the world. I've been traveling for exactly 1 month today, and I still have about 10 days left. I went to several countries in Europe, and now I'm in Israel, and it's having a great time. But also, I'm doing business from here. Today, I sold a $500,000 house, sent some documents from here, got a special notary, and managing some properties from here. So it's pretty exciting that we live at a time that it's pretty easy to do that, and it's accessible to do that. I apologize, by the way, if there's some background noise. I'm in the car for the next couple of minutes, but then I should be out and it'll be a little quieter. But anyway, that's, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that has enabled me to do that recently.
Totally. I would like to, and we'll make it very interactive. I'll ask you questions and things like that. How long have you been doing real estate investing, Mr. Jason?
Well, I started in 2005 as a wholesaler, so 14 years ago. Actually, this month, September 2005, was the first property I wholesaled. And at that time, in 2005, I think most of your listeners know what wholesaling is. I didn't even know the term wholesaling. I didn't even know the name for what I was actually doing. Does that
Wow.
make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Um, because I kind of overheard a conversation, and somebody explaining the process. So I said, okay, when I first got that property that I negotiated, and I knew I didn't have the funds to close on it myself, and I was going to sign it, I overheard somebody talking about putting and/or assignee, but I didn't know what that meant, and I didn't know really what I was doing, and I didn't know the time or terminology for it, rather. But I did it, and I was wholesaling. It was like another year and a half, 2 years before I even knew the term wholesaling, even though I did 15 or 20 deals by that point, before I even knew the term. Because even though it's only 14 years ago, not that long, but you didn't have all the Facebook groups and the bigger pockets and the seminars and the gurus and the podcasts and the books anywhere nearly the level of what you have today. And I
Right.
feel like today we're almost drowning in information, but we're lacking wisdom. And that applies probably not just to real estate, but in a lot of ways to,
I like that. We're
yeah.
drowning in information but lacking wisdom. What do you mean by that?
I mean that you can read or learn about real estate or wholesaling now. There's almost, you know, it's like the old expression, you're drinking from a fire hose, right? Like
Right.
there's so, you just want a little sip, but somebody turns on a fire hose in your mouth. There's so much
Right.
information coming at you, but you don't easily know what's good information, what's bad information, and what strategy you should follow. And I hear and see and meet so many people that are just going about it in the wrong way, and they're struggling. And usually after I spend some time with them, they're able to do much better. But to be honest, I don't have that kind of one-on-one time to give everybody. It's very, very time consuming to mentor people one-on-one. But that's why I'm excited about the program we have, because I think it's kind of, we're giving them that, but in a more efficient way. But a lot of people are pursuing the business in a way that they're struggling or barely getting by, or maybe doing okay, like making a living, but they're not really building wealth. And to me, that's a huge distinction between making a living and building wealth.
Right. Right, totally. So basically, I totally get it, especially now that you mentioned there's a ton of information out there. One of the things that I notice is people get really confused. That's why one of the commitments that I made, Mr. Jason, was that whoever, that I would take one person and I would study that one single person. And I will study how, and that's what I did with you, basically. When I went to your meetup, and I heard you for the very first time. I bought your book. I went to every single meetup that you did, every single program. Remember when you had the 500K event?
Yeah.
I think you did that twice. I bought it. I bought every single one. Like I was in every single one of them because, I said I only want to hear one person. I want to hone it. I literally want to know and understand your thought process. How do you do things, and more importantly, what is your thought patterns that you are doing it. And see, people, I notice that people kind of jump around. They study this person, they study this other guru, this other guru, this other guru, this other guru, and then all of a sudden they're completely just bombarded from all directions, and they don't know what is what, and what is right or what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I've been guilty of that at times too. And I think that's very easy trap to fall into, especially these days with so much, like I said, so much information out there, so many gurus and so many podcasts and so many programs and seminars and webinars and books out there and audio programs and like you name it. But to me, it's like, okay, just find like a few things that work, and that's really all you need to do, and you can make a very good living doing that. Just finding a few key things that work, you know.
Right.
But you have to, you know, be ready to adapt at the same time too, because things do evolve, you know. And some of the stuff we're going to be talking about today is about yeah, is about stuff evolving.
I agree with you. You know, it reminds me when I first started real estate, you know, we didn't have the social media, the digital media, you know, we didn't have any of that. And today, people are missing out, I think, in what, you know, on what the future is bringing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's powerful, you know. So let me ask you this then, Mr. Jason. What, I know that you've bought properties lately, and it really kind of, it interested, not only for me, but for many to hear your story. We've lately bought, few properties using exactly the same method. I think I showcased it, and I don't remember if I did, but I did one in Texas where I was never there, and it was almost, identical. The difference is that you bought it at such a phenomenal price, and from a source that many people are not understanding at a deeper level. And not too long ago, even though we've been thinking, you and I, how can we solve that issue, or how can we bring something that will help people with the number one challenge, that I don't care where they're starting, or even if they haven't started, it will become, the number one challenge in their business. And if they have already started their business, I'm pretty sure that they're probably experiencing right now. And that number one challenge that I've noticed is that they don't have enough sales in their business. In real estate, that means not having enough great deals in front of their desk that they can choose from, or that they can buy consistently.
Yeah, that's a major issue for people, and always has been. And I think, things, we can't deny that as the market's been hot for the last several years, pretty much all over the country, one of the side effects is more people getting into the game, and it becoming more competitive in some ways.
Right. And some people not knowing what to do. What I found? I found a lot of people that are new, overpaying for things, and then getting themselves in trouble, and not understanding that, there's deals to be had, but they gotta be bought right. You gotta make sure that you're buying them right. So, we just obviously gotta be looking for strategies, and one of the strategies that you're going to be sharing today is precisely that. So how about if we get into it? Talk to us about those 5 homes that you bought. What was the strategy? How did you land it to them? Tell us a little bit about that background, so that, we know exactly, how is it that we're underutilizing it when we could be really tapping into that level of exposure and really getting some traction there.
Well, I feel like, direct mail, we all know direct mail in real estate is effective, can be effective. And I utilize that too, and I've been utilizing that for many years. And networking is important too, and I've been utilizing that for many years. But the one thing that, it took me a long time to sort of, is the internet marketing, the social media marketing. And I think it's something that, we all know has huge potential, but a lot of people struggle with it. Struggle with, how do I make this work, right? How do I use the internet to grow my business, to get more clients, to get more deals, to grow my network? And you can definitely do all of those things, but most people are kind of clueless on how to do that.
Right.
So what actually happened is that earlier this year, I guess about 7 or 8 months ago, a friend connected me with somebody who was just like an internet marketing wizard. And this guy is basically able to buy houses all over the country for, pennies on the dollar, just using internet marketing. And I said, I would love to work with you. And so I started working with him, and this opportunity came to buy 5 houses in Jacksonville, not Jacksonville, sorry, Jackson. He probably say Jacksonville, but it's Jackson, Mississippi. And the craziest price was actually, I say it's $5,000 a house. It was actually less, a little bit less than that. That was with the closing cost. It was actually 4,500 a house. So these properties were owned by a guy, and it's such a different mindset than what we have, you know, if we're dealing in different markets. But he sold 5 houses for a total of $25,000, which each one is bringing in 500 a month, and now we're raising the rents on them to, for most of them will be 700 a month. And conservatively, okay, conservatively, I don't usually like dealing with cheap things, because part of my philosophy is you deal with big deals and you make a lot more money. So I typically don't touch deals, but this was, the exception that I make is if it's a steal or if it's cash flow, right? And this is such amazing cash flow that you're basically making your money back in about a year, which is insane. Worst case scenario. So I haven't decided yet. I can definitely, I already have people interested. I could, you know, ask, oh, do you want to sell them? Do you want to sell them? Based on even the super high cap rate, which people, if they don't know, means like it's very attractive to the buyer because they're getting like 12 or 15% a year. They're easily worth about 5 times what I'm paying. So either I haven't decided yet, and I like when you have multiple exit strategies, right? Like where you can keep the house and just make a lot of cash flow every month, or you can sell it and make $100,000 or $200,000 or $500,000. And that's exactly the situation here. The thing is, this was not like a rare thing. He's finding them all the time, and he's finding them all over the country. But it's knowing where to look, and it's knowing what to look for. If I told him, find me a house in San Francisco, it's not going to be 10 cents on the dollar, okay? He can find me some leads in San Francisco, but realistically, it's probably going to be a 20 to 30% discount, which is still pretty good. But if he's finding, there's certain parts of the country and there's certain types of properties that he knows he can easily get for 10 cents on the dollar. Wow. You know, crazy numbers. Wow. And because there are markets where people are not that sophisticated and not that competitive, and like there's markets that I know that are bigger cities that people are not as competitive in, and you know, you can get very cheap advertisements online, because the way that internet marketing, or sometimes you hear it referred to as PPC, which is pay-per-click, works, is the more people are competing for a certain keyword in a certain location. Let's say in California, you have a lot of people shopping for mortgages, but you also have a lot of mortgage companies, right? So if I'm in California and I Google mortgage or something related like refinance my house, if I'm a mortgage company, I'm going to have to pay a lot for every click, every time somebody searches that for my search term to pop up. But if I'm in Jackson, Mississippi, which is much smaller market, much less competitive than California, and I did a similar keyword, it's going to cost much less, right? Right. But it's also about knowing which keywords to use. So again, I'm not the expert on this. This friend of mine is, who's going to be at our event that we're going to be talking about soon. And he's figured out exactly what to say and what to do. And he's making a lot of money finding and selling these deals all over the country. And I had to persuade him and beg him and plead with him to come and speak, which he's agreed to do. And he's finding so many deals that he just basically let me have these 5, like whatever, you know, take it. And which is pretty amazing, because he's really mastered this art of the internet marketing, pay-per-click. But the other thing to know is that, you know, there's also tools that we're going to be talking about that it's more about building a network that people are not using online, and getting leads by referral. I know only 2 people. There's one technology that's very famous that everybody knows, that's like a social media platform. And I only know, I guess, 2, maybe 3 people that are using it at all. And I know hundreds of people in real estate, but only know 2 or 3 that are using it to network, but yet it's very widely known, but almost nobody knows how to use it effectively. And those people are getting deals from it every single month. They're getting deals from this network. but
So
people don't know how to do.
so this 5 houses that you bought, they
Yeah.
were purchased from, from social media marketing, from pay-per-click. Basically, it's
Yes.
like an online pay-per-click. It's an online marketing advertisement that this gentleman actually is an expert on, that does social media campaigns or things like that. And that's how this properties came from, right?
Yes, exactly.
Now,
And finds them like every day, pretty much. Yeah.
it's powerful because there's a lot of people that are, some of them are in high metro areas, and others that are not in high metro areas. They can both benefit from it. And I can attest to this, Mr. Jason, because the same thing happened to us. We had a house in Oregon, Texas, and another one in Arizona that came literally from digital marketing, that people are really not taking. They don't know. I mean, when you don't know, you don't know, or they just don't take the time to really just put it to work, which, the internet today is not going to go nowhere. It's just going to get bigger and better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So,
And it's getting competitive, and it's been competitive, but it's like, it's competitive because most people are doing the same things. It's kind of like what I shared with you, Ro, about how for 5 years I basically had a very nice niche to myself, making 6 figures per deal, and almost no other investor was going after those properties, whereas everybody was going after like the low end, right? Like in the Bay Area, or the distress or something. So I think you see the same thing in the internet marketing, that yes, it can be crowded and saturated, but everybody is like kind of plowing the same field, taking fruit from the same tree, if you will, while other fruit trees are sitting there with fruit on them waiting to be picked and don't have that same level of competition.
I still believe, Mr. Jason, and strongly believe that the social media marketing still is not saturated. Honestly,
No.
I mean, there is competition, but there is, I strongly know that there is a ton to still be conquered, and that, whether they're in business already or they're still not, that they can still do it. Now, what are the challenges out there that like, for instance, for someone new, that they're just barely getting started, or they have already a business established? They're already either a real estate agent, or they're either a real estate investor, and they have not maximized on the digital marketing aspect. What do you see as the biggest challenge of why people don't use those tools?
Well, first of all, I 100% agree with your statement, because it's not saturated, because like my friend, he's finding more deals than he knows what to do with. That's why he was like, take these 5. But I think the biggest challenge is that people just don't really have kind of a mentor. It's kind of like the same challenge that I would basically say most real estate investors have, because it's kind of hard to figure it out by yourself. And if you have a good mentor that's done it and that's doing it and can.
Mr. Jason, are you there? I think we lost him. Did we? Did we lost you there?
Kind of show you the way that they figured out. Maybe just
Jason, we lost you there for a moment. We lost you there for a moment. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, but we had lost
sorry
you for maybe about 15 seconds or so.
Yeah, I was saying that, basically it's about having a mentor that can show you what to do, which is something that, most people don't have. And if you have that, that can shave a lot of time off of your learning curve and save you a lot of heartache and frustration.
Got it. Totally, I agree with you. I think that people will need a coach. They will need. I've always said that people need 3 things. Well, they need more than 3 things. But whenever they're doing something new, they're going to need expert, coach, and mentor. And just so that we can describe them very briefly, expert, it's someone that knows the tools really, really, really well. The second thing, it's a coach. A coach is a person that's going to be there, telling you and basically inspiring you and motivating you. Not necessarily the coach has done it, but they're like, in a simple terms, the coach keeps you accountable, while the mentor is the one that has already gone through the experience. And you're going to need all three. And I know one of the things that I like, Mr. Jason, about what we're going to be able to share with the community here is that I know that the system that we've been using basically offers those three things. And I'm just going to go ahead and repeat myself. Everybody who's in business, I haven't done business on my own, and and I'm not talking about the people that I've hired to bring along or things like that. But in order to succeed in business, you need three professionals. Basically, you need an expert, you need a coach, and you need a mentor. An expert, it's the expert that brings in the tools. And what tools, like the attorney, the title company, they're experts in one specific area, like the social media professional or expert, that knows how to, do Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads or things like that. And then the coach not necessarily has the experience, but they're the ones that's going to keep you accountable, that tells you, hey, you set this goal, you said that you were going to basically get it done. And then the mentor, which is the third one, the mentor is the one that tells you, or the one that has the experience, has been there, because they have been there, they have the wisdom, they have the knowledge, and it's no longer information. So for everybody who's here in this webinar, if you're looking to succeed, whether as a real estate agent or whether as a real estate investor or entrepreneur or any other business that you may have, you're going to need those three. You're going to need them. I mean, it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when, and it's better to get it done sooner than later. So one of the things that I noticed with Mr. Jason is things that he doesn't know how to do, he gets the experts, and obviously he can be considered as a mentor as well, because he's been through he's got the experience, especially on the real estate side, and now, buying from the digital marketing world. So yeah, I wanted to throw that in, Mr. Jason, because I want them to know that digital, in my day and age, I was born where there was no internet so available as it is today. And a lot of the people who are here connected with us is probably, in the same boat or in the same space. And they think that, they're too old to learn that, or they're too old to implement that. And I don't believe that. I think that if we don't implement the digital marketing world, we're going to be dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean, there's basically no denying that that this is how people connect, and it's just the key is to find out, like, how do you reach them in the most effective way. And you have like the medium, which is the social media, and which platform, and then you have kind of the message, and then you have like the way that it's delivered, and it could be sometimes just a small tweak. Sometimes that's the interesting thing about marketing, right? Just a small tweak can sometimes double or triple your results.
Well, and it's so true what you just mentioned, that I want to throw in this story because it's so important, right? I don't know if you know, Mr. Jason, how the actual there was this consultant that was hired by one of the shampoo owners. And the shampoo owner wanted it to increase the sales. He didn't know how to do it, and so that's why he hired a consultant. He hired an expert. And it was interesting because the expert, what he did is he brought two other people to kind of study how can they increase the sales. And when they actually grabbed the bottle, the shampoo bottle and the conditioner bottle, they were like, okay, you know what? We got the idea. We know how to do it. All we ask is give us 10% of the sales from that point on. So Tell me what your sales are right now. And from that point on, just give me 10% and we will double, triple, we will double your sales immediately. We just need to do a couple of changes, and that was it. And basically, the simple change, you just mentioned it right now, one simple change that sometimes when most of us, don't understand that we're in the business instead of on the business. In other words, when you're a one person, shop, or even if you're, a 5-person shop, most of the time when you're a small business owner, you're inside the business. You're the last one, you're like the fish, the last one that knows that you're that you're underwater, that you're, in the water. And it was interesting going back to the story of the shampoo entrepreneur. It was interesting because, the experts came in and read the instructions, and right on the instructions, it literally said, the instructions said, go ahead and squeeze the bottle, apply once, and, go ahead and put it in your scalp and keep it there for a little bit, right? It said, do it once, and then rinse. And you know what they did in order to increase the sales just like this, just overnight? It was interesting, but one simple change. Instead of saying, apply it once, they took it off and said, apply it twice.
Interesting.
Picture that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, they did a very similar thing when they were with gas stations. You know what they did with gas stations? Back when they had full service gas stations, people would come in and they'd give like $5 or $10 or whatever it was back then, probably a lot less because this is in the old days, right? And then they taught the gas station attendant to just ask, fill her up, and almost everybody would say, yeah, okay, fill it up. And just by that, like, instead of people just buying like 5 gallons or 10 gallons, they would always get a full tank, almost always get a full tank, just by having the attendant say, fill her up, instead of how much do you want, and then getting like $5 or $2.
So true.
But sometimes it's like small things like that, that can make a huge difference in sales. And I think as investors, it's very important to kind of go back to your earlier point to create like an abundance mindset and abundance of leads, because otherwise, you and I, we've seen people, and maybe we've even been those suckers at times ourselves because we're not perfect, that have overpaid. And a lot of times when you overpay, it's because you're like, oh, I need this deal. I need this deal, and so it's so important to have not just the abundance mindset, but the actual abundance of leads, so that you can say, you know what, this deal's not good enough. I'm either going to get a price reduction, or I'm going to get it for this price, or I'm going to walk away because there's another lead. But what I see people doing, and it's happened to me, and it's happened to you too, that you get like to the point that you feel like you're not generating enough leads, and you end up overpaying for a deal. You should never have done in the first place, or you should have only bought it for like 30% less than what you got it for, because you don't feel like there's enough leads. I mean, you've been in that situation, right? I know I have.
So true. And one of the things, it is so true what you just said. I've noticed it, especially from, the people that are, barely starting, but this also happens even to more sophisticated investors. When they don't have enough great leads, or enough, leads to, as sellers to get to process and to make offers, they feel desperate, and they feel like, oh, you know what, it's okay to pay a little bit more because, but the reason why that happens is because there's not enough leads coming through your desk again. So, and one of those things that I want to, share to people right now is we're talking, ladies and gentlemen, about, the power behind digital marketing. And, Mr. Jason and I developed literally a system that, it's a digital marketing domination system that we're putting together a very special event. because he has bought properties using the same method. I have done so as well. We don't share it openly because we were first working on many things that we wanted it to put together. Um, I got websites that you don't know that they exist, where I generate a lot of leads. For instance, just today alone, for real estate, and I'm talking strictly for real estate, although this is true for any business. Just today, my acquisition specialist, he had a list of a list of sellers wanting to sell that he made an offer to, locally here in my local backyard. Now, this is true in all over the world. It's not just pertains to California or things like that. And we want to be the first, one of the first ones to offer you guys the opportunity for you guys to know that I'm pretty sure I can guarantee you're underutilizing the tools, and I don't blame you, because if you don't know how to use them, you don't know how to use them. At one point, I personally didn't know. Today, I hired it out, but it's important to understand certain things, and that's what we decided to do. We wanted it to create something that we could solve the sales and marketing challenge that almost every small business out there experiences, 99.99% of the times. And so we want to help you with obviously getting great leads. We want to help you to solve that issue so that you can have the results, so that you can enjoy the results that you've been seeking, and create the lifestyle that you want, whatever that is. So that's truly what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. So, so anyways, Mr. Jason, what is it that we've got that we could offer? Because we got an event that we're putting together in San Diego. What can we share to them?
Well, I'm going to give one teaser with your permission.
Sure.
I'm going to give more than a teaser. I'm going to tell you specifically one tool that almost nobody is using effectively. And this is just one out of our, I think we have 10 speakers or so lined up. And
right.
This is just one of the strategies that you're going to learn. This one I'm talking about specifically is LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is a very powerful business networking tool, but almost nobody uses it effectively. And as I mentioned earlier, and I didn't reference specifically, but I'm going to tell everybody who's listening now, LinkedIn was one of the ones that I only know 2 or 3 people using it effectively, and other people, maybe they're on there, but they don't even know how to use it. And I mean, almost everybody has an account, but almost nobody knows. It's the craziest thing. It's like almost everybody having an account, but almost nobody knowing how to use the account, right? And the 2 or 3 people that I know that are using LinkedIn in real estate effectively, they're doing extremely well with it because it's a very powerful networking tool, and they're getting leads from it and deals from it like every single month. In fact, one of them, who's a friend of mine, said, "Jason, you're not going to share what I taught you about it, are you?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm not, but our speaker is going to be talking about it because he's just he knows that almost nobody's using that effectively." And so just imagine that and that's just 1 out of 10 different things you're going to be learning. Just imagine using that effectively and getting consistent deals in your business where almost nobody knows how to use it. And just imagine how powerful that would be. And think about that by 10x it, by all the different strategies that you're going to learn. But just doing 1 or 2 of these things effectively, not doing them like in a half-assed way where you just have it's like the difference between anybody can have a website, but not everybody is an e-commerce millionaire, right? It's like the difference between, I have a LinkedIn page, but using it, really learning how to use it, or the difference between paying somebody to do your pay-per-click, versus really learning what works and what's effective right now, and how people are finding properties for pennies on the dollar, or growing their business, and how, I'm going to be speaking about Twitter and how I got almost 750,000 followers in just a couple of weeks, and got a lot of media and PR for it that companies would pay, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get. So just 1 or 2 of these strategies alone could, grow your business by 7 figures.
Totally. So everybody, you guys can go to bizgrowthmastery.com and you can see it there. I'm actually sharing the website right now. It's bizgrowthmastery.com, and you can see the lineup of speakers that we have. Right there we see Mr. Jason Buzi, Jacob Smart from LinkedIn, Mr. Jason from, Twitter. He actually did 700K followers in record time. You're going to obviously see myself as well. This is something that you don't know about, but using digital marketing, we did a business that hit $100,000 a month, and I know that you guys don't know this, but once again, you're going to see a lot of people, okay, that are going to be speaking. Like for instance, John is going to be speaking about marketing, being a marketing influencer. We got Arun here as well, about video marketing. A lot of people need to understand the power behind it. We got Instagram, Jerry speaking about Instagram, and all of these people are experts in their field. And I mean, they master that. So picture this, having like, how many speakers do we got? Like I just mentioned, 3, 6, 9 speakers, from how to create an email list. Why is that important? I already told you guys that, I created a buyer's list, and it's important to know how to create a buyer's list. So whenever you want to sell your properties, you can sell them in a click of a button. Imagine being able to buy properties in a click of a button and selling them on a click of a button. See, without, social media marketing, I don't think, honestly, my business wouldn't be today if it wasn't because of the social media domination aspect that we made it a point to learn it. It's not my forte, but I said, you know what? I got to learn it because, whatever is it, I'm not, if we're not innovating, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not making 50% of the time, you're not devoted into innovation, new ideas, learning new things, trust me, you're just going to be left behind. I can promise you that, and I can tell you straight flat out. We're going to have, Mr. John from Facebook, over $1 million in ads on Facebook. We're going to have Abby there, pay-per-click expert. So you name it. And the power behind this people combined, it's just, stunningly unheard of, basically for for what we're putting together. So the dates, mark them down, is October 26 and 27 in sunny San Diego. So 2 full days that you're going to get to spend with all of these great speakers, and it's strictly for what you see here, Digital Marketing Domination Conference. It should be domination, not dominance, but disregard that, all right? Domination Conference. Now, this is the very first time that we're doing something like this, and I can tell you straight out, the network that you're going to be able to connect with or to build out of this is going to be stunningly amazing. Give you an example. A lot of you guys know that I just closed on a house that I just sold in Oakland, and it was brought through one of my students, and yet it was sold using social media marketing. Can you imagine that, Mr. Jason? We made over $200,000 in profit, okay? And yet, how that property got sold, it was an email list and social media marketing. I mean, how I'm getting this buyers is I'm using this same methods. And see, the thing is, people don't realize that that's, the power behind it. So anyways, just wanted to share that, as well as when you get into the conference, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to speak a little bit more into it, and then we'll go into questions and answers here shortly. You're going to pick one free bonus, with each ticket purchase. So basically, you get to choose, from one of the 3 that you see here. Everybody is going to get access to a business growth mastery secret Facebook group. In other words, there's going to be a group that is going to be created that community is going to stay not only secret, but it's going to be a community that we're going to be helping each other, okay? But when you do decide, the moment that you decide to go ahead and get it, and it's extremely limited, by the way, you get one, a bonus number 1, 2, or 3. You get to choose. You could either get VIP Mastermind Dinner, where basically it's a $1,495 bonus, absolutely free, that And this is only, by the way, as you can see there, it's only available for the first 10. Why? We can't make it available for everybody because honestly, we won't have the bandwidth. Why is this important? Because we're going to spend time, we're going to invest time at your business, giving you actionable step-by-step actions. So in other words, we're going to be auditing your business so that we can help you with sales and help you have, 10x results there. Or you can choose from bonus number 2, where Mr. Jason Buzi is going to give you the online seminar that he recorded professionally called 500K Deals Event, which means it's a, how much did people pay for that? I think they were paying what? I remember paying like what, $2,500 or something like that, or $4,000 or something.
Like about $2,500, and it was just a one-time event. And I almost didn't want to give this bonus because it's almost unfair to the people that paid thousands of dollars to go.
Right.
That we're just giving this away as a bonus.
So basically you get to choose either 1, 2, or 3. And the second bonus is literally, it's over $2,000 bonus right there that you get to choose absolutely free. Or number 3, professional video.
Another event like it. Don't think there'll ever be. Yeah.
Or professional video for your business. In other words, that's $1,000 value. We get to do a professional sales video edited, that basically you're going to be able to use. So when you go to this event, you're going to walk out with a actionable format with action steps for you to conquer, social media and be able to grow your business in a way that you have never done it before and that you're going to benefit from it. I started this early on my business because I knew how important that was. Now, what is the investment? Maybe some of you guys may have. Well, just click on the register button and you will see that it's not even, we thought about doing it for $5,000. You know how much I paid for this, by the way? Just everybody on notice. I paid $10,000 about 3 years ago. Okay. I paid for a conference, a 2-day conference, exactly what you're going to get here, 10 grand. And right now you can get it for $19.95 per person. And if you get a your significant other, or you get a business partner, it has to be either a business partner or significant other, you'll get a discount, 50% discount. You get the second seat for $9.95. So bottom line, let me tell you this. I've paid it before I've actually offered it to you. So in other words, it was what? It was, I think it was Dallas, Texas, where I took it. And I paid 10 grand. So, for $19.95 and having 9 speakers, by the way, that was 10,000, 2 speakers. Okay. And it was just one thing alone. This is 9 speakers on 9 different specialties, all in one system for $19.95. Plus you get to choose one of the 3 free bonuses, which is already absolutely free. And you get to be a part of a very close secret community that basically it's going to be able to, help each other and contribute to each other. So keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. For this price, you don't get it elsewhere. I can tell you that, quality-wise, and that gives you this, this amount of knowledge. To me, is knowledge, is not information. Information is what you can find on Google. Knowledge and wisdom, you can only find it in a room like this when you bring speakers from all over the US to speak about something that they mastered, at a black belt level. So, if you're really serious about taking the business to the next level and 10x it, this is the time. We've only got it for a very, very special limited group. So go ahead and get signed up. We're going to help you, but at the same time, you got to take action immediately, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I want to add is that when you do the social media the right way, it can actually also be a lot of fun. It's not just revenue generation or work, but to actually, when you see it growing and you see the following that you build, that's very rewarding in itself, and it's a lot of fun to see it grow. If you're growing social media, it's very immediate. It's not like I send out letters sometimes and it's like crickets. You don't hear anything. You send out thousands of letters. You're just hoping to get a response, and you don't even see. Here, you're actually like very quickly see people respond and interact with you. You know, it's a much more immediate sense of gratification.
So true. It's so true what you just mentioned. I've made relationships because of using this same system. In those relationships has been until today, Mr. Jason, uh, uh, not only we do business together, but, we consider ourselves now great friends. And it's all because we started this thing several years ago. But it is definitely fun. It's definitely worth a while. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about it. And people need to implement it. Not they. You shouldn't. You must implement it, or else you will be left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the bonuses too, I've had people willing to pay thousands of dollars for any single one of those bonuses that you named, and just the value there is just phenomenal. So we just have like a few spots left. I think we just have a few more people we're trying to get in. I know it's, just a little bit over a month away. So unless what you're doing, I tell people, unless it involves a hospital, a wedding chapel, or a funeral home, cancel whatever you got going on unless it involves one of those three things, and make sure you're there.
Right. So for whatever, my only thing is ignorance is much more expensive for sure. I can tell you straight that out. But it only takes, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it only takes one relationship. It only takes one deal, okay? One act, one system that makes the difference, that could make the difference in your business. One deal, one relationship, one ad, one system that can make the biggest difference. So go ahead and invest in yourself. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men on earth, said something very powerful. He said, if you don't learn how to make money while you're asleep, you will eventually die working. And the second thing he said, it is the biggest and the best investment, not the biggest, but he said the best investment he has ever made in his life, it's been on his own personal development, on his own, obviously, knowledge. So, hey.
Raul, can we repeat the website for people? Because I saw a couple people message that they need us to repeat the website.
Totally. Give me a second. Thank you for, so I've actually put it there. Give me a second. I'm going to go, it's bizgrowthmastery.com. So it's bizgrowthmastery.com.
B-I-Z. It's B-I-Z, growthmastery.com.
And I'm putting it here on the chat, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Everybody should be able to see it now. Biz Growth. So you can just go ahead and click there. Is bizgrowthmastery.com. Go ahead and get registered, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you this much. What we're doing here, by the way, so that you know, it's a package that we're creating. It's something very amazingly powerfully part of the package that we're creating. So we're giving you access even way before that. I can tell you straight flat out that not many people will have access to. And for the people that knows me, you know that I don't play in business. I don't like to play in business because we got very limited time on this earth. So we want to make sure that we can impact at the highest level ever in people's lives, and I mean impact in a positive way. We want to help you grow. We want to help you achieve your dreams and goals. We want to connect with great people. And definitely we want to obviously hear your success stories that we can share obviously with the rest of the world. Simply put, make sure that you take action for yourself. All we can do is create the right environment, create the right contacts, the right knowledge, and it's up to you to take the action. That is the one thing that we cannot delegate. I can't delegate action to you. You gotta take the action yourself. Okay, so there's few things in life that I cannot delegate. Like I cannot delegate health. Like I cannot delegate exercise, action. I can't. But there's a lot of other things that we can delegate. Knowledge, learning, you can't delegate it. You know, so it's something that you got to do so that you can become better. The better you become, guess what? Your income will always be the reflection of your personal growth. So I can tell you that from experience. So you're invited. We will love to be able to have you there. Now let's enter into, very quickly into questions and answers. If there's any, we'll be, more than happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. Any questions, go ahead and feel free to let us know, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys. Mr. Jason, it seems like people...
And again, the website is Biz Growth Mastery, bizgrowthmastery.com.
Yeah, it's right there. All righty. So basically, all we're saying is, listen, don't let the digital marketing wall intimidate you, because the way we're going to obviously share with you guys, I promise you, I'm going to show you a very simple formula. Now, I'm a simple guy. I'm Mr. Jason and we're simple people. And what I mean by that is we can't make things complicated, because if they are, then they wouldn't be working for us.
We're also not flashy people. We're not trying to impress you with sports cars or yachts or whatever. We're to me, it's like it's about lifestyle. It's about experiences. It's about what kind of life, like Raul, we mentioned at the beginning of the call or just before the call, I don't know if it was recorded or not. I'm on a 6-week international vacation right now, and closing deals while I'm here and having money coming in while I'm here from rental properties. So to me, it's about lifestyle and not trying to show off or anything like that. Right. But the strategies that you're going to learn, honestly, I mean, I'm excited for the event, not just because I'm going to be speaking and meeting people, but honestly, I'm excited because I'm going to learn so much from these experts myself and take my business to the next level. Because, I mean, we have one guy who's making 7 figures a year, okay, millions of dollars a year, from a YouTube channel about basketball. And that's just one of multiple businesses that he's running. But from a basketball YouTube channel, he's making 7 figures a year. So it's like things you wouldn't even think about. People are making up. I mean, I know a guy with an email list who's making close to 8 figures a year. And
I'm gonna show them something. I'm just gonna show them something, okay? Very quickly, because I want people to know, and I usually don't do this, but I want people to understand that we don't speak out of thin air, that we got data to back it up. Look at the screen. 1, 2, 3. What do you see there? What do you see there? It says the last 4 weeks, one of my smallest companies made in the last 4 weeks, literally just digitally. I've never ever had to appear, like this is just digital, $42,000. Okay. By the way, I don't run this company, but when we first started it, I was really involved in it, like any other business. What I'm saying is this company was launched about 6 weeks ago. About 6 weeks ago, this company was launched, and it's already producing $42,000 a month in the past 4 weeks. Now, I'm sharing that and I'm taking it off because I want you to understand one thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you're serious and committed with you, go ahead and make that simple investment. Because at the end of the day, I'm not, one of the reasons we're not flashy, we prefer to put our money into cash flowing assets. And then later on we may, we'll let those cash flow assets buy every employee that we want. But, honestly, to me, it's more about how can we impact your life? How can we help you? If you're coachable, if you're, trainable, if you're, a person that is seeking growth, this is the time. This is the time. If you want to literally go to the very, not the next level, but, create a massive expansion, this is the time. I wanted to share that, not to brag about it, but I wanted to share because that little company, next time I show it to you, is going to be 100,000, and it's going to be 200,000, it's going to be 300,000, and that little company is going to hit $1 million a month. going to hit 1 million a month. Now I'm declaring it. I know how to do it. Now I'm not alone. I just want you to understand I'm not a lone person. I don't like to be alone. I don't. So you at the event will understand that I like to be together with people. I love people. I love being together with them, and I want to help you. So go ahead and take the action, all right? There's some questions, I think, coming in here. It says, one of the questions is how many people will attend? You know, she likes it. How many people will attend? We got it set up, ladies and gentlemen, for only, and this is only, it's only going to be for, I think it's for 100 people, the maximum that the room holds. So that's it. We're shutting it off at 100 people, and that's it. We can't take more because fire marshals won't allow us. So, so that's it. How is it doing? You know, how is he doing his due diligence on the area? It's out of state. How are you doing your due diligence?
I don't know if they're referring to me or to our speaker who does a lot of those. For me, I just, you know, I did a lot of and things like that, and the so stupid, like in a good way, so ridiculous.
You're cutting off. You're saying that you bought it so low that you didn't care, right?
Yeah, I bought it so low, the cash flow was so crazy that it didn't matter. But for the gentleman who does these regularly, I mean, he'll be speaking about that.
Okay. Okay. And I can speak about that because I've done it. You know, in the simplest way, ladies and gentlemen, you got to have boots on the grounds. But guess what? To do that, I usually have a large network in social media. Once again, make sure that you understand why we're inviting you, because I'm going to show you, you know, very simplistic. I've bought properties, you know, out of state. I've never been there and never planned to even fly it over. We're doing one right now in Red Ford, Michigan. I haven't seen it personally. Guess what? We're going to be showing you guys that. It's not a simple answer, but social media simplifies it because you can put boots on the ground, you know, eyes that can see for you, and simplify it really, really well. All right. What does your second company does, Edwin? You know, it says, what is the second? It's basically an informational, it's an informational real estate company, Mr. Edwin. So it's real estate based, and it's an informational one, or I should say, it's a real estate academy. So what else? What else? Any other questions? It seems like no more questions, Mr. Jason. So
okay.
Really appreciate
Biz Growth Mastery. Let's give it again. BIZ GROWTHMASTERY. Biz BIZgrowthmastery.com.
Give me a second.
Don't miss it. You don't want to miss it. There may never be another one like it. I had a lot of people, you know, the last time I put a unique event called 500K Deals that were upset and asked me to do it again. And that was just, it's very hard to get all these great speakers in one place at one time. It is not easy to do. So you don't want to miss it. And I don't know that it'll ever happen again. But you know what? The 500K Deals, which was an amazing event, Raul, you were there, and is not being repeated. Now you get a chance to own it because it's one of the bonuses that we're offering.
Great question. We're still getting question. Let's continue to answer just because there's some of them that came in. Ms. Larry, go ahead and put your questions. I know that you said you had a ton of questions. Go ahead and feel free to put them. But Edwin is letting us know, do the attendees get the recordings? Do attendees get the recordings, Mr. Jason?
Well, what have we decided? Did we discuss that? I think that they're going to have an opportunity to get them. I don't think we figured out exactly.
We haven't discussed it, but if you allow me to answer that, and if you're okay with my answer, you tell me right now, because you know, we didn't discuss it, but I'll tell you what I usually do, if you're okay with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead.
I usually do give it to them.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I'm open to
if
that.
that's okay with you, let's just do this. We're only gonna do that though. Let's just do it because I think it's a lot of value that we're giving, which I think it's dramatic. Let's just do it for the very first, let's just do it for the very first 25 people, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So for the very first 25 people, ladies and gentlemen, you will get that recording. We like to
Video.
reward early bird.
Video?
Huh?
We're talking video, right?
Yeah. The recorded video. What I mean by that, it's the recorded of the entire event. Are you there? Mr. Jason? Mr. Jason?
Oh, sorry about that. I think I accidentally muted. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. No, we're talking about the record, just so that we can all be clear. We're talking about, the event. We're going to be recording professionally all the speakers in the full 2 days. Edwin asked if the attendees get the recordings. Obviously, we never spoke about, you and I, about that. I said, I shared that, yes, we should give it to them, but we should only do it to the people that took immediate action. To the very first 25 people, that they will have access basically to the entire recording. So we'll have to create like a dashboard that that they'll have access to those recordings for, let's just say, for a full 12 months, if that's okay with you.
Let's do it.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. Everybody, you'll have access to the recording. Only to the very first 25 people, right? So, and we'll be announcing what those 25 people are. So, question.
Okay.
There's questions. Referral. What services? What other fruit trees that are not being looked at? What do you mean by referral, Laurie? What services? I guess I'm not understanding your question. Like referral. What services? What other fruit tree that are not being looked at? The fruit tree that we were talking about is the digital marketing domination world. So
To the specifics of what exactly, how exactly they're doing what they're doing, how are they finding deals, where are they finding deals? That's all part of the content that's going to be discussed at the event.
correct. So basically, digital marketing learning curve. Maybe I need a mentor. Laurie, totally. I can tell you straight out, you guys will have access to what we have had access. We're gonna give you literally contacts, knowledge, systems, and resources. So we're all transparent. I mean, you guys know me. When we do this type of deals, you're basically getting it all type of deal there. So the best it says the best method of contact a potential client deal. We're doing social media marketing a lot. We're doing a lot, by the way. And when I say we, is like the people that are not only us as independently, but the people who are going to be there. They're doing they're doing a lot of digital marketing where they're getting real estate deals. So it's not like you go and knock on doors. People are knocking your door. Instead of you knocking their door, people will knock your door.
And I want to can I just add something, Raul?
Sure.
That it's going to be definitely a lot of real estate heavy stuff. Right. But if somebody's right now not in real estate or trying to get into another line of business, we also have speakers talking about how they're making.
We lost you there, Mr. Jason. I think you pressed the wrong button again.
Raul, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
I was saying that, like, even though we're going to be talking a lot about real estate, just for people to know, if they're not interested in real estate or they're interested in another type of business, they're looking for a different type of business to start. We also have speakers that have built 6- and 7-figure businesses in other fields using social media and internet marketing. Like the example I gave earlier of somebody that has a YouTube channel about basketball and is making 7 figures a year from a YouTube channel about basketball, things
Right.
you never even think about.
It's so it's so freaking awesomely interesting to see how, you know, people think that it's only a one-way thing, and it's not, you know. And so that's great that you actually added it. Larry's also asking, how about the people that are old don't get into the internet? How about the old folks that don't get into the internet?
Hey, I mean, like you pointed out, Raul, you and I were not that young, you know. We didn't grow up with the internet. I mean, you're younger than me, but I didn't even exist when I was growing up. And so, yeah, it's always changing, but you're never too old to learn. You know,
Right.
there's stuff that I've only learned in the past year, and I'm almost 50 now. You know, and I plan to keep learning stuff for the rest of my life. Like you never want to stop learning.
Yeah, and let me add
You have a brain, yeah.
yeah, and let me add to it, because it's a great question. It's a very great question that she made. You know, keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Just because a seller or a homeowner is old doesn't mean that are not beneficiaries of the internet and the change of this world. Let me explain how. This, let's just talk for a moment. And the reason why I'm sharing this, that's how we bought a house in Texas. The lady who sold it to us, she wasn't born with internet. She was basically maybe in her late 60s, early 70s. And she told, she told her grandson, hey, we need to find somebody who can sell basically blah, 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 who can buy our home because we got to move, blah, blah, blah. And guess what the grandson did? The grandson went in online and started searching, for who can buy fast cash. And guess what? They hit in our website. The grandson provided the information, and guess what happened? We still bought it. So don't. I'm targeting both ends. The end consumer who's going to sell you, which is the seller, and who doesn't have to know about internet. They don't have to. They're still beneficiaries of the internet. And then you as the operator, or you as the entrepreneur, you don't have to know it all either. We're going to show you systems that will allow you not to need to know it all or to feel intimidated by it. When you have a guide, when you have an expert that is showing you exactly what to do, how to do it, then guess what? You don't have to intimidate it. Keep in mind, it's like riding a bicycle. The first time you're going to mess it up. It's okay to mess it up. But I'll tell you this much. The people that learn the fastest is the one that are willing to mess it up sooner.
And you basically have three sort of legs to it, to the business. And each one of them you can build with the social media. You have your sellers, you have your buyers, of course, and you also have your referral sources, which is very important too. And each one of those is a critical component of your business. And each one of those you can get with social media, sometimes with the same strategy, sometimes with a slightly different strategy.
Correct. Totally. And see, the thing of it is that things are changing, ladies and gentlemen. Sooner or later, we won't need title companies, and we won't need, and what I mean physical, like a physical going inside. And I know that Laurie brings it up, that says, hey, some people are old, they don't do electronic signature. Ms. Laurie, that's why there is overnight FedEx. That's why there is, we've bought properties where we actually encounter the same challenges that you're encountering. And my advice is that there's always, keep this in mind, guys and gals, there's always a solution to every problem. The law of the opposites, the law of polarity, says that if there's a floor, there's a ceiling. If there's right, there's left. If there's hot, there's cold. If there's black, there's white. If there's, you get the point, right? So there's always a solution. There will never be a problem without a solution. The universe operates under that premise. I didn't invent it. I got a license to brag about it because I learned it from somebody else. So if you, whatever challenge you throw me, whatever question you throw me, or whatever problem you throw me, there is always a solution. That we can't see it, it's a whole different story. That we don't know how to solve the puzzle, it's a completely different thing. But I can promise you that there is a solution for everything that already exists. So,
And I can just one more thing, if I can add to that, I can also promise you that everything will always evolve. And if you try to do the same things now that you did 5 years ago exactly without changing it, it's probably not going to work out very well for you. And if you're not evolving in your business and in your marketing, you're probably not even staying in the same place. You're probably going backwards because the world is moving forward. I
well,
mean,
look
I'm
at,
on this trip and I'm visiting cities that I haven't been to in years, and it's like looks completely different because nothing stays the same. Things are always changing, right?
look at Blockbuster. What happened to Blockbuster? What happened
Yeah.
to Toys R Us? What happened to Sears? What is happening to these mega monsters who didn't want to change and adjust to what, you know, what technology is doing? And,
Yeah.
and we think technology is bad or is getting people out of business. No, it's just an you know, we you know, business, there's businesses like Starbucks actually made the biggest adjustment and shift in their lives, that they're coming back in a very major way. So just understand that, very powerfully said, Mr. Jason, what you just said. If they're not evolving, they will be extinct, like you know, like I said, like, you know, all these other companies that haven't made that change or continue to change and grow. It's about innovation every single time.
Yeah.
So excellent. Anyways, I work with high tech and it has changed a ton. That's so true, Larry. I agree with you on that. But anyways, just keep in mind that you need to add to your arsenal of doing business. You must add the technology side, or better yet, you know, it's not only technology, but the social media marketing side. And I know that the team that we just put together, it's going to blow your mind away. So be ready. Make sure that you reserve those dates. Make sure that you get your, you know, your flights. When you subscribe, you know, we're going to send you later on, you know, obviously where the location, the hotel, so that you can obviously do reservations and things like that. But keep this in mind, you know, be willing to invest in yourself so that you can change your, you know, your future. So anyways, thank you very much, Mr. Jason, for being here with us
Thank
today.
you.
Appreciate the time. I know that you were, you know, busy in your vacation, but you know, thank
Biz
you.
Growth Mastery. Yep. BIZgrowthmastery.com. Check it out.
All righty. Have a great one, everybody. Thank you very much for
Sign
being
up.
with us here today. Get to see you
Thank
next.
you, Raul.
Thank you so much. Now, keep in mind,
Thank
everybody, next Wednesday is going to be at 5 p.m. Okay, we're changing the time, 5 p.m. next Wednesday. Have a phenomenal rest of your day. Thank you so much.